down some things and come back and tell you. So the way Boy Scouts work is you have a boy leader, and then a couple of boy leaders, and then a few more boy leaders. And so the top of Boy Scouts is always the senior patrol leader, and then he has two assistant senior patrol leaders, and then below him is the patrol leader. So out of this patrol, not tonight, but next week you boys are going to elect a patrol leader.
Can't we already? No, that was
Scouts.
president.
So I would like for you guys to be thinking about who in your group would be a good person that wouldn't try and boss everybody around, but would be an excellent leader. This is the person that you go to. So let's say something occurs. Well, somebody stepped on my tent, somebody moved my shoes, all your little problems that you used to would go to mom and dad with, they now go to the patrol leader, who is just somebody that's in your group, right? Hang on. And then if your patrol leader can't handle it, who do we take our problems to next?
The senior leader.
The senior patrol leader. And so,
Who's that
as of
gonna
this
be?
weekend coming up, your camping is going to be boy-led, meaning you guys are in charge. Does that make sense? Okay. So, something that I want to discuss with you guys is what we call the buddy system. Do we know what that is?
Yes.
Okay?
Always stand somebody wherever you go.
So, let's say it's really late, it's midnight, and somebody has to go use the restroom. And you're in your tent, you're tired, you're sleeping, and your buddy shakes you and says, I have to go to the bathroom. What does that mean?
You have to go with them.
You have to go with them, no matter what, okay? So, no matter what happens, you have to bring your buddy with you anywhere you go. It's required to have a buddy anywhere that you go. So, no matter what, buddies have to go with buddy. Okay? So, you're gonna keep that in mind the whole weekend. There won't be any walking around alone. We're going to pick tent buddies next Wednesday.
Of course, Sammy already won.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously. But we're gonna have 2-man and 3-man tents. You won't be sleeping in a tent with your parents. Y'all have a 2-man tent? Okay.
2 and a 3.
Okay.
Two,
Plenty of tents,
six.
plenty of tents. So you'll pick, well, we don't want any more than 3 boys in a tent because at the 3 mark, after 3 it becomes a party.
Steven, me, and Aiden McCracken.
Well, we'll start talking, and
I'd say
actually.
2.
Cause he has a 3-man tent.
Yeah, so if we prefer to have 2 in a tent, so that's the preference, is to only put 2 in a tent. So how about cooking? Who here has cooked at home?
Me. Well, yeah, but it's another, even one person has to have 3 in a tent.
Yeah, so odds are we might have.
I can cook hot dogs.
So the
I
plan
can cook
is
pumpkin
that
pie.
you guys are gonna be doing all your own cooking. And when you cook, you get everything dirty, put your hands down, you get everything dirty. And once you get it dirty, what do you have to do with it?
Clean it up.
So who's gonna clean up everything for you guys?
Yourself. Us.
So you guys are gonna be responsible for all your own cooking and cleaning. And so, somebody called the grub master, Thomas is gonna be your grub master, he is going to pick out dinner, breakfast, lunch, everything you're gonna eat. He'll buy all the groceries. So all the food will come via Thomas. All the cooking and prep work will come from you guys, okay? Something else that everybody needs is a plate and a fork. Don't go buy fancy camping plates and forks like we use in Scouts. They need a Tupperware as a plate, you know what I mean? Something that can be cleaned, because anything they eat on, there won't be any paper plates given to the boys. There won't be any plastic forks and knives, anything thrown away like that. Boy Scouts don't waste things like that, so it'll be a reusable fork. And it could be a plastic fork, but put their name on it, because they're gonna be washing it for 4 meals, okay? So they can use like a kid plate, something plastic, not glass, something that has to be, they're gonna use it to eat on, then they're gonna wash it, dry it, and reuse it again every single meal. Once we reach Boy Scouts, we do use camp kits, like true food kits, but there's no reason for anybody to have those on the trip at all. Yes, sir.
Do you and your buddy actually cook for both of just yourselves or for the whole day?
So the way that it'll work is we'll decide how many people are going, Thomas will help you with that, and we'll have a couple people cooking the meat, a couple people cooking the eggs, a couple people getting everything ready. So there's something that you're gonna use called a duty roster. And the duty roster picks out what we do, so Saturday breakfast, the cook, the assistant cook, who's gonna wash dishes, who's gonna clean up, and all the way down to who's gonna control the fire bucket, okay?
Not Dan,
So-
not Nathan.
You will have
Definitely not
this
Nathan.
posted on your patrol box. And so different people, there's 2 people cooking each meal, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let's say you have 6 people in the camp out, 2 different ones that we prepare the meal. Although Thomas bought the food and is the grub master doesn't make him the cook. He'll stand by and make sure you're cooking okay. And you're going to be feeding Thomas as well, so he's eating with you guys, okay? So you're feeding him as well, so you gotta make sure everything is edible.
No, he's
Food
not
is
going
good.
like that.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Can we make
Yes, sir.
photos?
Oh, when you were talking about the forks and plates,
Mhm.
is a mess kit good for
If you already have a mess kit, that's what you need, go ahead and bring it, but don't go buy anything, don't buy a mess kit. The only real piece of equipment that I'm really stressing is a headlight. Because you're putting up your own tent, so we get to camp that night, adults are not going over and putting up your tents. Who has a headlight already?
I have it, I can,
I'll put up anyone's tent with it.
I have a lot, I'll bring
Who
them.
has a sleeping bag? Who
We
has
have a
the
lot of
pad that
headlights.
goes under the sleeping bag? The
So
pad that goes
You
under.
can borrow Ian's this weekend, cause he's not going.
The pad, you have a pad that goes under the sleeping bag, okay?
Ian,
So, I have extra sleeping pads. Who does not have a pad? Like all together, okay. So, we're sleeping in tents on the ground. I have extra sleeping pads.
And I've got some too.
Okay. So, it's something that, the reason we stress of using them is a lot of the campsites that we'll use the troop, it's rock. I mean, it's not, some of them are set up perfect.
Yeah.
It's beautiful, but some of them are,
in the hood.
yeah, some are in the hood.
I'll say keep you warm.
So, you're gonna write everything down on here, and that's the plan we're gonna follow. So, whoever cleans breakfast won't clean every single time. Different people are gonna clean, okay? So, some of the gear that you need, of course, sleeping bag, sleeping pad, headlight. You need a change of clothes, 2 or 3 shirts, 2 or 3 pairs of socks. One of the most important things you can do before bedtime is, of course, we're gonna brush our teeth,
The bathroom,
use the restroom.
make sure the fire's out.
Okay, so whoever's in charge of the fire buckets is gonna make sure the fire's out, but dry socks.
Why didn't it say it bottle?
So you never go to bed wearing the socks that you wore that day. Never, ever, ever. Why don't you do that?
Cause your tank will get exposed. It's
Not
bad
safety.
for your feet.
So although you don't think so, your feet are wet, they sweat, especially if we're gonna be hanging out all day. If you go to bed with those wet socks, you're gonna be very cold. So
I
you
like to
always,
be cold.
for Boy Scouts, from now on, you never go to bed wearing socks you wore that day.
So can we just take them off?
You can remove them, but you really should put on socks to keep your feet warm. Something else would be nice, who has one of those beanie hats you put over your head?
The only weird
Okay, just, it's the kind of hat you wear to school if it was really cold outside.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, one
you
that
would,
shirts with the hat?
you don't have to wear a sweatshirt, but just a hoodie of some kind, like a little circle hat.
Oh, yeah, I have
Yeah.
a beanie hat.
So that's something that's awesome to put in your, bag whenever you're packing, because if you get a little bit cold at night, if you just warm your head up, it warms up your whole body. So I'm gonna send out a list, that's something that's gonna be on my list. So it's not cold enough that you need gloves, but another thing about that hat is when you're up and making breakfast in the morning, it'd be a little chilly. So you can leave that hat on, couldn't you? Keep your head warm, okay?
What if you like sleeping cold?
Wait, what
Then you would just take your hat off.
if your socks
are wet in the morning?
Well, your socks won't be wet in the morning because they've been in your bag all day. If it rains and your socks get wet, there's a problem, okay?
If it rains, your socks get wet.
So although we've told you that no matter what, the leadership is you go to your patrol leader and then to your senior patrol leader. Anytime that we think there's an emergency or a situation that you feel like needs to come to an adult, because I've told you to go to your senior patrol leader, doesn't mean you can't come to one of us. Does that make sense?
Yes, it
So if there's a problem, we want you to come to us, but we want you to try and handle anything that can be handled without us, using the system first. Because once you reach Boy Scouts, that's the system that we use.
Well, if the kid breaks their arm, they're the fastest person.
If you're hurt or injured, or you see somebody hurt or injured, and also we're gonna be working a lot with fire. So we're gonna play some games that include fire and charcoal matches, some knives. We're gonna play games with them. it's organized games, we're not gonna be throwing fire or anything bad like that.
Good.
And then the campfire night, so we're gonna do a full-blown campfire. And so, between this den and Mr. Jamie's den, the Cub Master, we're gonna have a campfire show. The adults are gonna sit around, and each patrol's gonna have a skit, the adults are gonna have a skit. We'll work on this around dinner time, of what the skits are gonna be. We'll tell jokes, and we're gonna hang out around the campfire, okay? So, one of you boys or one of the other boys are gonna be in charge of the campfire, you're gonna be the MC. MC is the guy that runs the campfire, he's the host, okay? So he's gonna be the guy, say, okay, up next we have, and he'll run whoever's in charge of the campfire. He'll have a piece of paper saying who's up next, what they're doing, so it'll be a true stage performance. Does that make sense? Okay? So, some of the things that I wanna talk about are what kind of things you guys would like to do during the day. Soccer, we're definitely doing. So we're definitely going hiking in the morning. There's a beautiful bridge, there's a beautiful trail. We're definitely doing a morning hike. That hike won't take that long. When we come back, there's time to play a game in the morning. We can play either soccer or frisbee golf. I have played frisbee golf with a big group like this. It's a blast, okay? You will be laughing and playing along. It is not easy. Most of your time is going to be spent trying to find those frisbees to do. We have frisbee golf frisbees that we can bring, so I'll bring those, and y'all can kind of change that on the fly. Of course, brothers can change this too. Soccer, we can bring a soccer ball with us. In fact, we will bring a soccer ball with us. Yep. Well, there we go. And then there's one game that we're going to be playing, and it's called String Burn. Okay? So you're going to burn a string.
Climbing, and then you're gonna light the other end on fire, and we're gonna like climb up all the way.
So we're
Then
string
what
burn.
happens when you get to
We're
the
gonna
top?
take 2 tent stakes and we're gonna hammer them into the ground. And then we're gonna tie a string between those 2 tent stakes.
And then you try to make a tiny fire and burn it.
And this means that you're gonna have to use all your scout skills. Ones you really haven't been taught yet, but it's practice. You have to get kindling. You've gotta get a little bit of better wood, a little bigger wood, some sticks, some twigs. And you have to build your fire up. And what it is, it's gonna be a race to see who can burn the string faster. Does that make sense? The first one to get the string to burn wins. Yes,
Can we bring knives?
It, like, let's say we weren't doing a challenge, but if another group just like made a fire, before you did, could you just like, if let's say you had your fire ready to go, and you just didn't have anything to light it with, could you just, like take a stick, go over to your friend and light that on fire, just like
Well-
catch your fire on the fire blowing like.
we're gonna give, so everybody will have a pack of matches. So everybody will have, it'll be the same race, everybody have a little pack of matches. And, it's what? Yeah, that will never work. I've done that before, and the adults stress out. So we'll have, you will have matches, yes. I'm not
Wait,
lying.
Dad, what about the one where you tie a rope, you put a little slit in the
Vaseline.
stick, and then you put the rope
Bumble.
on it and you go
Yep, so I will give everybody here some advice.
I'll do that.
So you know how when your clothes get dried, inside your dryer is something called dryer lint? Dryer lint is not cheating. So what you need is a Ziploc bag with some lint from your dryer in your bag. So when the string burn race occurs, yes sir, you bring that lint with you, and that'll get it started.
I was going to say, leaves work really well too.
So
Leaves make
don't give
sense.
all your secrets away.
Leaves make
So don't give all your secrets away.
Well, I mean, like,
So what'll happen is we'll show up, we'll have the string burn still ready. Yes, sir.
I know it hasn't burned.
So you might have to do that. If we get a little bit of rain, might have some wet wood. So that's one of the games we're gonna play. But it'll be a 2 or 3 man team, and you'll go out and collect everything you need to make the fire. There won't be anything to make the fire at the site.
What about
You'll go out, you'll
matches?
collect it, except for the matches, the string, and the tent stakes. Yes, sir.
What's the time for collecting, the supplies to make the fire?
That'll all be decided by your patrol leader and your senior patrol leader. They'll vote on all that. And then, of course, y'all will have say-so in that as well. The next skill that we might try and do is there's one called the pancake flip. And so what the pancake flip is, once again, you've got to make a fire, except this time we're going to give you a few charcoal bricks, build up some heat. So you got to get your charcoal lit, you gotta get your fire going, you gotta get your hot, you gotta get your pancakes cooked, flipped,
And eat it.
and eat it.
Okay.
And so
No syrup?
we'll race that.
Nope, just.
No, it won't have to be cooked all the way, it'll just have to be edible. So you got, so that'll be a 3-man team, you'll have your, fire starter, your chef, and your eater.
I'll be.
Oh, that would be the eater.
So we'll all have a decision to vote on that.
I ate a chocolate bug.
So some things I want you guys thinking about is, what games you would like to play in the morning, and what games you would like to play in the afternoon.
Soccer in the afternoon. The soccer in the morning.
I like
We
taco.
don't play football, so we'll play, so we do
Soccer,
soccer.
tackle, basketball.
Here's another one that's a lot of fun, is, not dodgeball, but, kickball.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
That's
Dodgeball.
With a big
Yeah,
enough group.
adults
kickball.
versus kids, that'd be fun.
No, I didn't try.
Wait, Dad, why can't we play dodgeball?
Yeah.
The Scout play dodgeball.
Kickball for
You
sure.
can dodge a wrench.
Wait, why can't we?
Dodge a
Dodgeball. But you can't, we can't shoot at each other, you can never point guns at each other. We don't play football, Scouts don't play football.
But do Boy Scouts?
Because it's
Boy
pushing.
Scouts can't play dodgeball?
Boy
Boy
Scouts
Scouts
don't play
Scout
dodgeball.
We
runs
can't,
You
we
can't throw
can't
things
fake
at
guns
each other.
either.
How
Yeah,
about
no point
Sky
fake
Zone?
guns.
Like pieces of wood that are shaped like guns. that
Yeah, what
we
about
point.
Sky Zone?
Hmm?
That's easier to touch, like.
Hey, this one's a different.
Is it 'cause of
Yeah,
shoving?
remember when we went to Sky Zone?
That's a
We
way,
used to
Play
that's a
versions
different.
of it, but we don't play
People.
any
Too
tackle,
hard.
any where they're gonna hurt somebody.
Catch and fight.
Dodgeball
So how
and
about some
Sky
things that
Zone's
you can't
totally-
bring on the scout trips, things that you can't pack?
I know,
I
electronic.
mean, you bring a
No
football to
pets.
pass with your
Can you
friends.
bring your pocket knife?
Yes.
You can, can't you? Can you bring your pocket knife on your very first Boy Scout trip?
Yes. What?
So it's so mean to you guys, but, so we give you pocket knives now, you can bring them on this trip. Your very first Boy Scout trip, no pocket knife, because you have to re-earn your whittlemanship and your firemanship. So once you become Boy Scout, you'll be able to make a fire, you'll earn those the first time I think you can. But you'll be able to make the fire, control the fire, or have a pocket knife until your second camping trip. Because the reason we have those rules is I know you guys, but I don't know everybody. And so we have to get to know everybody first. Does that make sense? Yeah, but we don't know all the kids yet. Okay? And then next week, we're also gonna work on a menu. So I want you to be thinking about things you would like to eat. So, no doubt, you're gonna have eggs both morning for breakfast. You have eggs because you get a lot of energy. There most likely won't be any steak. So we don't cook hot dogs with Scouts a lot.
We cook
In fact,
hamburgers.
at Troop 39, it's not allowed to cook hot dogs
What
Too
about
easy.
hamburgers?
because it's a cop-out. It's too easy, and so we want you to cook something more than that. But you can do,
What about
Like
hamburgers?
Italian food?
you can cook hamburgers,
Crabs.
so y'all can actually bring a little.
Lobster.
Crabs.
Lobster, macaroni.
No, we're not gonna eat any fish we can.
Wait. I know what.
Can we
You
bring
can, so if
crabs?
there's something
How about-
specific that you wanna eat, like at a meal, and you know how to cook it, you wanna cook it a certain way, then next week, not at the campfire, but next week, this list also tells us what we need to cook. So this is the camp out menu planner, hang on one second, this is the camp out menu planner, and it talks about the drink, the entree and the side dish, and then it goes all the way down to Saturday breakfast, Saturday lunch, Saturday snack, Saturday dinner, and Saturday breakfast, okay?
Oh, so you're getting
As you look down
served
here, this is what food items you need to buy and what you need to cook those items. So you boys don't need to bring anything for cooking, you're gonna be working out of a Boy Scout patrol box, a real patrol box.
Wait, wait, Elvis.
Can I make lobster biscuit?
No.